It's very simple. You better wake up and pay attention because otherwise you're probably going to be a part of it. So it's all choice. And it's interesting how you bring that statement up. You can see the marketing ploy of uh, of what is taking place here constantly, and that is that the just the idea, and it's I'm sure it's in the Bible or whatever because they created all that business plan that yes, man rebelled against the gods or God, etc. They put that idea out there, even if you first read the book and you're really the nicest guy in town and you kind of just read that and you kind of shrug your shoulders and it's like, okay, what did I do? You see? Because see, they've already created a guilt trip for you to accept. This is how they are. It's already matter of fact, just like the original sin thing. It's already matter of fact. You're born into this life and you have original sin. They've already created a guilt trip for you. And so most people buy it. And all of a sudden, they start to get very emotional and strange with these ideas. And all of a sudden, they realize, gee, I'm really not a good person. Again, they start defining themselves accordingly. And then they got to go through that. And then they beg the gods for forgiveness or whatever. I mean, this is all an act that people are given scripts to portray. It's really kind of funny, isn't it? Yes, all of these things. And the eugenics and what they're doing, very real. You're seeing it. And again, the fires in California and all over the world, they're not stopping. These are laser fires. They don't just happen. The idea is that, oh, somebody dropped a cigarette, or I saw it on Facebook, they found the guy that supposedly started the fire. Okay, all they have to do is point the finger at somebody. They just grab somebody off the street and they just say, "Oh, we saw you throw that match there." You see, they could pick anybody, which they do. This is their fun game, and then people think that, oh, this is the truth and news and whatever. It doesn't matter if it's the truth or not. What matters is, and again, this is where people they take on the distortion of what's taking place instead of the actuality of the event. And that is, hey, who cares who started it? Deal with the fire and find the source, which is the planes, so they're on the ground. And then funny thing is, Trump says something to just stir everybody up. To the Californians, and it's like, well, you guys don't know how to manage your water. And it's like, what kind of statement is that? Again, Trump is paid to be duh. He is. He's good at it. He's really good at being duh. And he is no president. He's an imposter, is what he is. That's really what he is. Like all the officials, we don't need these people. We need people that are risk takers and have the awareness to see what's going on and have the courage to step up. This is very, very, this is where it gets to be so. Otherwise, everybody's still agreeing with what's going on. They look at the media, they listen to these ideas. They like to agree to ideas because it's a comfort zone. And especially those people that aren't being affected by it. It's like, oh, it's too bad this is happening, whatever, gee, how sad. Well, they don't see they're on the same earth. And it's happening to everybody, and it's all going in the atmosphere. Is the atmosphere getting better to breathe? All those chemtrails that went on all those mountains and those forests, because it's all over the world, when the lasers hit those things, that stuff ignites. Okay, all the metals, heavy metals and stuff, the aluminum and all these things that they put in this stuff, it all ignites and creates fumes, creates gases, etc. Yeah, it's very, very real. Very, very real. And it is a wake-up time. And people can pretend all they want. And I see people, they're just having a la-la land time here, especially down here. They're going to the beach. They're rock and rolling at night, and etc. Yeah, hey, go have some fun. But at the same time, are they paying attention to anything else? Well, surprise, it's all catching up. And they're coming down here, and they're burning everything they can, too. The beach stinks here, etc. So people keep adding to it. So, everything that's taken place, people make a choice. And yes, that is their agenda because we are here. Again, we are here. And they will eliminate the whole world because we are here. They want absolute control. Not partial control, absolute control. Nobody says nothing. That's the game they play because they're very, very bored. And so what they do with their captives, their human farmed people, is that when they're bored, then they start torturing them. That's what they do. This is what they do with the kidnapped children, with the elites of the monarchy. They kidnap these children and they torture them first. They want to hear them scream and whatever and beg and cry, and then all of a sudden a final chop and off goes their head. Whatever, however they do it, or they bite it off. Okay, this is the real world now. We're not playing patty cake anymore. This is what's coming. This is what is here. It has always been here. Now it's being revealed. And so they're just they're getting tired of this planet. They're moving on, but they're leaving the henchmen behind to do their dirty work. This is what Rebisar said. And so in the meantime, we're trying to do things on the real side. But the boys, just like your parents, you know, when you're out there and you're trying to support yourself and your family, sure, the parents can help, but they can't live your life. They can't work the job for you and pay for you. So the boys are doing what they can on the real side, and mainly Claudia and I are focused on this and bringing this out to this side here. But we have to do certain things, and the boys do certain things, but they can't do it all. They get it ready, but we have to do things too. So again, when it comes to this real universal position here, we're starting in Mexico, it's going to be very, very real. People are going to have to get down and start digging holes to plant trees. It's not going to just be instantly done. I am not going to support what others won't. So in other words, it's not going to just sit there. I won't purchase the land or take the lease or whatever with the funding, and then nobody does nothing. There's going to be a real plan, and people are going to be ready to go, and we're going to let the world know too if they want to contribute. One of the things I saw, and I'm sure many people saw it on Facebook, is there have been many people that have planted trees and whatever where there was nothing there, and there was one in Bali or whatever, Malaysia, and he planted thousands of these trees, and all the water and the streams came back. I saw another one from South America. And then there was in India, they got 1.5 million people together to plant, I don't know, 10 million trees in one day or something, whatever it is. Again, I see these ideas, how we can do the same thing. But at the same time, galactically, we have to deal with what is taking place also, and that's what's taking place on the real side. We're set up to do this. There's a lot more to this situation than is realized. So for those people that want to become involved, etc. So yes, all of this here, the eugenics and the agenda and whatever, it's been planned for 100 years. It's just that they're always preparing for the worst, and they provide the worst because they are the most afraid. This is the only reason they're doing this. And they use the humans to try and evolve in some way because they are so down the scale of life that they're struggling. And so the only thing they know is capture and experiment and destroy and all these things that they've done for eons. And now they've trapped themselves. And so here we are as the little humans here. We're like the guinea pigs because we're rather naive, which is understandable. We came here for experience. We didn't come here to be hassled. Just the environment is enough of a hassle. But it's a real wake-up call, and it's very real. And no political speech or law enacted is going to make it any difference. And besides, they don't care. Hey, you got a knucklehead president here that's more interested in coal than anything else. And, you know, again, all these are deception. They create all this nonsense as deception. That's why I don't listen to the news. They purposely do it to keep people so confused. And, you know, we're trying to make something sensible in this world, but we only have so much time. We'll see who has the courage to step up, explore, and also bring this through to where it makes sense. We can create a real position to where we don't have to be touched or the effect of anything, but that has to be really decided because anything is possible. But for the most part, Most people's personal lives are just too important for them to focus on that. So you only get what you give. And that's very real. Don't expect the boys to do it for you. They've set it up. You got to decide to do it. I'm deciding for myself. If I stand there alone, I'm already deciding that as being a light. I see that already. It's a matter of fact for me. That's all I focus on until it's done. But everybody else, no, their personal lives are too important to them. Yeah, so you decide. And so again, otherwise you're still the effect, and you will be, and a lot of people will be swept away no matter what your awareness is, because it doesn't take much to be swept away. Creation is a bitch, and it really is. But we have to deal with it. And so fortunately, we know what we know. And yeah, that's a very real agenda. I don't take it secondary. Just like a cat walking outside, I pay attention to everything, because at any moment, they've blasted the forest because they want their 5G. Interestingly enough, the 5G doesn't go through forests. Okay, so I would say let's create a new forest to where they can't bother us at all, and they can't get their 5G in. But then at the same time, there's a bigger picture happening here, where just maybe, but it's a maybe right now, but it can be an actuality to where they can't even turn it on. See, that's what I see. So they can do whatever they want, but it ain't going to work. But we got to get to that point. So we're in a big adventure here, very real, and we've talked about this for years. And our Asian friends in the different countries there around where Ava is, etc. And they saw on the real side these things happening. I remember on the Skypes that we had that haven't taken place for about 9 months with Sam and the others. Well, now they're living the effect. It's kind of a living hell for them in their countries. And so, again, people thinking that they're in La La Land here. There is no La La Land. Get ready, because anything can happen, and they can laser wherever they want. And again, you see those houses on Facebook where they show the news, the drone going over and showing these things. All the trees are standing on the roads are fine, but the houses are individually blasted, and they're saying, oh, these are little whirlwinds of fire that are destroying these houses. That's nonsense. That's really nonsense. And they did the same thing during World War II. They didn't bomb certain factories because they were, if it was Monsanto or some pharmaceutical plant or whatever, they didn't bomb those factories. You see, they were not to bomb them. Those were to keep going. Yeah, there is a plan to all of this, and it is planned to eliminate most of the population. That's most of it. And they're talking about 500 million, but you know what? If they have to, they'll eliminate all of it. They don't care, because they'll just go on to other stuff. There's a few elites there, but they don't care. They'll create more humanoids like they did on this planet. So, yes, we're in a real position here, and it's more than science fiction. But again, you pay attention or you don't. I'm totally paying attention, simply because there is nothing here. As I've said, it sounds kind of funny. There is no life here. You're dealing with simulation, and you're going to continually deal with the effects until you get out of those emotional attachments that you put first in your life. So again, standing real 100% with the all is makes real sense. Figure out how to do it.